Welcome to The Closing Table, hosted by entrepreneur, published author, and founder of Inspired Title Group, Dru Wishover. Joining Dru is his co-host, the always smiling director of operations and title guru, Aimee Mailey. Every week, they're dishing out laughter, game-changing tips, and the latest industry trends, as well as the occasional visit from real estate professionals. No matter where you are in your real estate journey, we've got you covered. So don't just sit there, pull up a chair, have a seat, and join us at The Closing Table. Oh, welcome. Hey, everybody. My name is Dru Wishover, and I am the president and CEO of Inspired Title Group.
I feel like it's midnight.
It's been a day.
And my name is Aimee Mailey. I am the title guru and Inspector
Gadget. The head inspector. Who are you?
I think I'm the director of operations.
You are.
I am.
Congrats.
I
Nice
am
job.
so sorry, friends. This is going to be a poop show. I apologize in advance. I'm going to try to hold it together just for you guys, though.
No, you could do it. I know it. So this is like another episode of fun and action packed. It's probably jam packed. It's probably just poop packed.
It's probably so poop packed. You have no idea.
Oh boy. Bring it.
Yes, we're absolutely going to start with our ABCs of title.
We're on LM.
Ooh. Yes, we are on M. We are going to be talking about mortgage modifications, which is a double M, and multifamily housing.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that'll be fun. And then we're going to chit-chat a little bit about why is the fall a good time to buy a house since, fall time is coming and it's here.
Can you believe? I'm like,
this is insane.
We literally, I feel like we literally just said, and the summer is upon us, and now we're talking about fall.
Legitimately, I cannot believe we're in the middle of August almost. It's bonkers to me. And we are going to have a great interview today with Chris Johnson from On Time Mortgage. And he's going to talk about his master connecting and what he does to influence people through connecting.
He's a good dude.
He's a great dude.
He's a good dude.
Every time I, meet with him, I feel like I leave a little bit more enlightened and
you certainly know when you got people in your corner, and this is a guy who is 100% pro, ITG. He's
and then we'll just do a little quick recap of our golf outing, and then what we got coming up in the future.
The golf outing's over.
I think so.
Holy cow!
I think we all survived it.
That was I can't wait to talk about that. That's going to be fun as well. Wow, that is.
I probably missed 9 things, so I apologize.
That's a lot of stuff. I tell you, that is a lot of stuff. Well, I guess the only thing left is, are you ready to get this thing going here, Aim? Okay, good. So,
yes, I'm gonna be.
Righty then. So whether you guys are a seasoned homeowner or if you're just a first-time home buyer, this episode, I promise you, will have something for no doubt about it. Grab your coffee. Pull up a chair. Let's get started because it's time. It's time, folks, to open up our discussion at the closing table.
Do I have to start this debauchery first?
I don't know. This is the letter M that we're going to be in, and it's up to you. Multifamily homes.
So I think the reason that we decided it was cool to talk about this is because there are so many facets of what multifamily housing is.
Yeah,
and
that's a true statement.
I just think that, let's start with the basics of what they are.
Yeah.
So it's a residential building designed to accommodate separate households within a single structure.
Okay.
And I could make a list of 7,006 different kinds of multifamily houses. So I'm just going to run through a couple of them fast.
Good examples.
Like a duplex.
Okay.
Those are most commonly, but there is a triplex and a fourplex.
There is.
And then we have apartments.
Okay.
We have condos, condominiums, townhouses, and co-ops.
So even though you said townhouses, though, and condos, like those are, they're individual.
Correct.
Right? But they're in a multifamily building or
correct
structure, right?
And building or structure. And so when I think of multifamily housing, my brain usually goes to like the duplexes or the 3 flats or something like that. So I think the benefits that people are starting to see when they think of multifamily housing, a lot of people that get into investing think that's this is a perfect place to start their investment. And why is it? Because, one of the ways people do this is they figure, okay, I'll buy this multi-unit and then I'll rent out the other unit.
Right.
So as I'm living in one, someone else is helping me pay my mortgage. So I think people see that as a plus side for sure. And then if you think about, this was a weird one when my brain wrapped itself around it. So the economics, when, you're sharing your cost of living with other people, not because you're actually living with them, but because you're sharing a building with them. Sometimes that makes, the price of living go down a little bit. Totally. If that makes sense in any way, shape, or form.
No, very well said.
And then also, I talked about the investment because you have cash flow coming in, but then also the diversified risk.
Yeah, you're sharing the risk too.
You're sharing the risk too. Right. So I think people just need to think a little bit about when you're getting into this, what does that actually mean? Like for an investor.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it's, if you have a duplex and you rent out a unit and someone's helping you pay your mortgage, it sounds great. What happens if those people move out?
Right.
Then you're struggling looking for another person to rent out this. So then you're almost paying, twice as much as you would in like a single family house. So, and the initial cost is always a big concern because it's more money up front than it would be buying a single family house. You're a property manager at that point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Landlord. So it's like, you're dealing with different tenants and you're dealing with the maintenance and you're dealing with everything that comes with it. And just, the dynamics of your tenants. Sometimes you just don't get along with people. So I do think that it's cool to be able to discuss what that means as a multi-unit.
Yeah, I think dwelling. You bring up a lot of good points to hopefully make the listeners think about, because, like you said, the investor side of this warrants a positive in that you can have somebody help you pay the mortgage. And hopefully if it's something that you are buying as an investment property, you've bought it and you fix it up and you're not in so deep that you need both of those.
Correct.
But, you can hopefully just rely on one to say, this would be cool if, even if I, didn't have the tenant, I can still pay the monthly mortgage and the utilities and things like that. However, if I do, it's where you're starting to make your income.
Correct.
And, you're sharing in on those expenses and things like that. But as you also alluded to, there are risks that go with that because, you've got another family, another group of people living there. If they do damage, if they set the place on fire, there's liability, there's risk.
And I think the reason that I kind of dumped in like the condos and the townhouses and stuff, it's not because you're actually sharing one unit with them, but it's a part of a bigger complex. So, townhouses, you share a wall with somebody. And condos, there's a lot of times like these shared amenities and stuff. So while not necessarily you're always living under one roof, but I think it's just a different classification of like a multi-unit or a multi-family unit.
You're sharing the hallways, you're sharing housing. The common space, elevators if there are, or the, the area outside where, you may take the dogs or kids out to play. That's all shared space. So, I think, to what multifamily is, I think that's very applicable to, what you're doing there. So that's, I think that's a really good kind of underlying simple form of thinking about the multifamily, because so many people, investors, or even people who are just buying homes, it was pretty common practice to live in a 3-flat with grandma and grandpa, and then mom and dad, and then the kids, and then as the kids got older, you just stayed there, you moved into one of the other units.
Isn't that crazy?
Right?
And I do think that like multifamily housing, or what do they call that when like in-laws will move in with you, or
empty.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, a lot of people living under the same roof in some facet, whether it be in the bedroom next door or whether it be in the floor above or below.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
Like an in-law suite and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's very cool.
So yeah, love your family, live with your family, and stay with them forever.
And share the risk, share the wealth, and
share the love.
Yeah, share the love. Nice. It is. It's generational homes.
Yes.
Very nice. Very nice. So I'm going to speak about something that is also pretty, applicable, especially in, the economy today, as much as it's been over the last few years. It's called the mortgage modification.
Mortgage mods.
And really, it sounds pretty simple and basic based on, what the terms are. And really it's really the agreement. You're modifying the agreement that you have between you and your lender, whether it be a bank or somebody that has lent you money. So you're basically changing some terms of that existing loan.
Yep.
So there's many different reasons why people do it, and there's pros and cons to all of it. But I think that talking a little bit more about the why people do it is important, because one of the things that kind of, this is the first stitch effort before you go down the path of potentially foreclosure. Right. So one of the things that you can do is, reach out and talk to your lender and say, hey, I just lost my job, or, became seriously sick, or I'm going through a divorce and I can't afford the current, mortgage like it is.
Yeah.
And they may be willing to negotiate or work out some kind of a different deal where they extend the term, or they change the rate, or if you're late on some payments, they add it to the end.
Right.
And they modify your mortgage.
But you guys, this is something that you need to keep your lender involved with.
Oh,
they will find out if you stop paying your mortgage, and it's your job to be proactive when these situations occur, because no one's just going to leave you on your butt and say, yeah, good luck, figure it out.
Right.
They will want to try to work with you, because they don't want to do this.
They don't want
want a foreclosure. They don't want to do anything like this. So when you are in a situationship and it's a hardship, go talk to the people that can help you.
Yeah.
And they will listen to you.
Yeah, that is truly the time to engage the professionals, and really, whether it be calling us at Inspired to say, hey, you know what, I'm struggling with this. Do you guys have some folks? Do you recommend? What do we do? I don't care where you start. Just start. Whether it be your realtor, your attorney, your title company, just start, because they can at least give you a path. Because the worst thing to do is nothing.
Correct.
And
because then something will happen in a very bad way.
In a very bad way. So again,
sorry to cut you off.
No, it's totally cool. The common reasons why people do it is job loss, reduce of income and hours and all of those things. Expenses and increased expenses. So, cost of living has gone up. The interest rates have gone crazy. There's financial obligations like
credit
medical
cards
bills.
Are maxed out.
Yeah, you get in all these kind of troubles. Temporary hardship. Those categories also kind of lead way to a conversation. And if that conversation is with the lender truthfully and you're being genuine, they'll at least have a discussion to see if it works, because they got to, it's got to work for both parties.
Correct.
Right. It's got to be able to, where if they're going to reduce your payment by, a couple $100 and you can do it, then great. But if they're going to reduce by a couple $100 and you're still not going to be able to pay it, then there's, at that point, it may be a moot point. But so some of the common ways that lenders do this is they will try to lower your interest rate to keep you in that loan, so they don't have to extend the term. They're going to just try to lower the rate, which would ultimately reduce your monthly payment. Another thing they do is they extend that loan term. We've seen it. Instead of a 30-year loan, which is your common. So your common is your 15 and 30. We've seen 40-year loans.
Yep.
You think about that and you're like, holy cow, that's a long period of time. Yeah, except if you need it.
Correct.
And those 40 years, there's a reason for that. It's not that they're a deadbeat or they're any different than you and I. It's that maybe they came on some financial hardship that they modified this deal and said, okay, you know what, we're going to add an extra 10 years. Well, okay, what does that do? Well, extrapolate that out. That certainly helps your monthly payment by a lot.
Absolutely.
You add another 10 years to your payment, it's going to go down. So
right.
your monthly payment is going to go down. They may even be able to forgive a portion of the principal. So if you have a mortgage that's, $250,000, I mean, really, 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 in order for them to do that, you have to be sitting on a little bit of equity to make sense for that. Because if they forgive some of that principal, the more money that you owe, and there's no equity, meaning that they're going to win, if they do have to foreclose, if they have to sell your house, they're probably not going to do that. But here again, it's entirely up to them as to,
you never really know.
really what they do. And maybe then what they do is they kind of combine and they do a whole restructure of it where they say, all right, well, you've missed a handful of payments, so this is what's due. Let's just start over and write a new loan. Let's do it for 35 years. Let's put in the payments that you missed, and let's get you back to a monthly payment that is X.
Yeah.
And you go, hey or nay. Either you could do that or you can't.
Right.
And it kind of, lends to making sense for, all right, well, here's what we can do. And it may be, it may be nothing, but like Amy said, at least you have to ask the question.
Yeah, you at least have to give yourself that conversation.
Because like we said, the consequences that are behind this are, are foreclosure. Yeah. And, that path even is,
it's a mess.
It's messy. I mean, here again, we can help with that. We're very well versed in this. We've done this for many years because of the markets that we've gone through. So we're not unaccustomed to seeing it. It's just the letter M and what we're talking about right now, and kind of alerting you and advising you, saying, hey, if you're in some trouble, call your lender and talk to them. Don't just call them up because, you went out and bought the cigarettes and you're a little tough on groceries this week. They're going to, they're going to laugh you out of town. But if you've really fallen on some serious financial hardship, losing of the spouse and death and jobs and all of that, like, you can legitimately lean into that. And, I'd like to believe that they have a heart too, and they're going to try to help you guys out.
Absolutely.
So hopefully these things kind of brought you to some level of help and interest when it comes to the letter M. Amy talking about multifamily housing, which is really just anything more than a single family house,
right? And there's multifamily and multi-unit and multis and multi.
Look at that. We got multi out there.
Yeah.
And then I brought on the conversation about loan modifications and modification of mortgages and things. So I hope that you guys are a little bit better off and a little bit more kind of enlightened by and educated around that topic and subject. So that's why we do this, folks, is for you guys. So hopefully that gives you some room, and we can kind of move into what we want.
Yes, I finished our ABCs of title.
Good.
We're going to segue into.
This is it just
a somewhat current event.
It is. It's just hard to say the word fall right now. I just don't want to do it.
I went to Joann Fabrics the other day. Shout out Joann's. Thank you for your yarn selections. But also Halloween stuff out.
Wow.
There's pumpkins and skeletons and
pumpkins and skeletons.
And gnomes, fall gnomes.
And gnomes.
Of course.
Well, so there's conversation. There's a lot of buzz around, fall and in home buying and when's a good time and when's not. And this economy has really lent to just a lot of different weird things happening. I mean, interest rates being high. There's been very little inventory in the marketplace. And Amy's seeing it, being a newly licensed realtor now in trying to get some traction on a couple houses she's got listed. And it's crazy. I mean, one area didn't last long, and the other area there's a house that's still for sale, and you kind of go, okay, well, it's obvious and that the reason it's for sale is because it's probably a couple bucks more than maybe it should be, right?
Do you know global warming and like how seasons are shifting? I think real estate shifting too.
Yeah. I think
it's like, I think with what this market, like what's happening in the market right now, and just with these interest rates that we keep talking about, I feel like the summer's been good for real estate. It hasn't been terrible.
Yeah.
But I do think we're going to see this push a little bit later into the fall. And what we're talking about right now, I feel is going to be like end of fall, things to keep in mind.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I mean, right. I mean, I've been asked, you've been asked, we've been on different, we've talked about it here. We've talked about it in different, forums throughout our business that, when is the interest rate going to drop? What's that look like? When's that going to happen? And, it's all speculation.
Yeah.
It's all kind of just when it happens, but right now everything is pointing to in September. There's a very, very good chance that the feds will, make a move.
I feel like we were having this talk last September.
Yeah.
It's been a long year.
Yeah. And if they do that, that will, I think that will really free up and spark some interest in, the world and what's going on. Right. Because as we said, there's, very little inventory.
Yeah.
And, October, if you think about it, if you're not in, if you haven't found your house by, early mid-July, you're going to struggle to get the kids in by,
for sure,
in school and get that all organized. Sure. So one of the reasons that it points to the fall is, kids are in, they're established. So, it's not 1,000,000 degrees when you're moving.
Correct.
Right. You're not moving in the middle of August and, September where you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to lift this couch because I'm just drenched.
Sorry, Floyd and Joe.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So realistically, you're moving in, October, November. So, one of the reasons is I'm going to just speak to it, there's less competition.
I would say yes.
And I, I say that so uncomfortably because there's less competition because there's not a lot of inventory out there, but there's a lot of competition because there's not a lot of inventory out there, right?
Correct.
Your competition is maybe the neighbor across the street whose house is identical to yours, except the garage is blue and yours is brown and his house is $20,000 more. Well, why? I mean, he's on the better side of the street. What? Legit.
Yeah.
There's not a real reason.
Right.
But so typically what happens is, people, there's less inventory, there's less competition in the fall. We've had less inventory and less competition for
just in general.
But I mean, inventory and competition, very, very different. Inventory is like the number of houses. Competition is the houses that are out there are priced competitively versus where they were priced super high.
Right.
Right. So I think that there's a range now because I think people are going, okay, I can't get that top dollar anymore.
Right.
And so I'm going to have to lower that. So lowering it's not like you're now competing with anybody because, you got the guy who's across the street who's got his house $50,000 more.
Yeah.
So if I lower mine, I'm not really competing with him because I'm less.
Yeah.
So,
so
one of the tips for the fall would be the less competition.
Yes. And also, another thing that sellers are worn out at that point, right? Like if I listed my house in April, May, June, July, still sitting around in August, September, October, like these sellers are probably at the point where they're going to listen to any kind of offer that comes in.
Yep.
So, I would say be very cautious in the offers that you give if you're a buyer, because you don't want to, completely, insult somebody and ask for, $400,000 less than their house is for sale for, but, to at least give them a somewhat, what's that word I'm looking for? Somewhat reasonable offer that they'll at least have a conversation with you. I think your chances are higher in the fall when you see this house has been on the market for 2 or 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah. And so to even add to that, so sellers are tired, right? They're worn out. They're exhausted. Well, I think the people that are selling their house in the fall are more realistic. I think they're more eager to sell.
Right.
Because, you think in a normal marketplace, when you come to the fall, you kind of are looking at what is the leftovers of houses. You're kind of like, oh, well, these houses have been on the market all summer long and nobody's bought them. But then you see the new inventory that pops up in the fall. You go, okay, these are now some serious folks because they don't want to keep their house through the winter and go in, they're going, I got to do this because my job. I have to do this because there's an economical or financial reason. There's change in their life. So there's more seriousness to that buyer or that seller of those houses as well. So if you start to see, oh my gosh, the inventory is the same. Okay, well, take a look in September and October.
Yeah.
If all of a sudden, you see a, an flux in the inventory, those are the houses you're going to probably want to look at, because
Yeah.
those folks probably need
to get
sell
out for a reason. Yeah.
So they're going to be, you can probably give them a lower price because they're eager to get rid of it.
Sure.
So you're not as bound to the crazy numbers that you've seen out there.
Mm-hmm. Is there anybody out there who likes to get their hand held all the time?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of another thing, people that have been, that we've talked to people that they like the fall because they feel like a number one priority with all the people that they're working with. In the spring, summer, like Dru said, you're trying to get the kids into school before a certain point. So everybody's buying, everybody's selling, everybody's looking, everybody needs it. Everybody needs that. And you become one in a number.
True.
And I hate to say that sometimes, if they're working with somebody looking in the $1 million homes versus somebody looking in the $300,000 homes, like a realtor's making more money up here. So some people that are looking in the not so expensive houses might feel a little bit slighted because, money purposes.
Totally.
It's not right. I don't agree with it, but people in the fall say they too feel like they are seen and heard and feel more hands-on love because there's not as much happening in the market generally.
Well, I would think, think about our business. We typically are pretty healthy through the summer months, and we kind of look towards the fall and the holidays as they start to approach, and you kind of we take that sigh and
breathe for the first time in 5 months.
Yeah, and thankfully we kind of go, but we can offer a deal because there's not that many out there.
True.
We can, so you might get some incentives and you might get a little bit more of a discount.
And you might get Miguel or John or Chris reaching out to you 7 times a day just to say hi,
just to
see
hi.
If, if you need anything.
Is there anything we could do for you? Absolutely. And really, I think the final thing to just touch on a little bit in the fall as it pertains, look at that, a guy stuck it in there, right? As it pertains to kind of buying in the fall, you really have a nice opportunity to take advantage of some of the fall sales that are happening to, decorate your house and do the touch-ups, the remodeling, the little
Black Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. The little projects.
Yeah. There's actually some statistics of like, when's the best time to buy your new paint or your new furniture or your appliances. We're not going to tell you now. We want you to reach out to us and we'll engage in a conversation about paint.
Yes, we will give you the top colors in 2024
and the top buying week.
Yeah. But I mean, it's true. There's, you got the end of the year sales. You got the all the discounts that are happening.
Grandma or grandpa, maybe you want to buy you a new dishwasher for Christmas.
Thank you.
I got a new entertainment center for my birthday.
Wow, it's not even here yet.
I know, but I didn't want to buy it myself. So my mom was like, "Do you want it for your birthday?" Yep. Yes, I do.
Wow.
Thanks,
How
Mom.
does it feel to know your birthday present before it comes? Doesn't it feel like you're older now? Like you're just kind of like.
So anybody that knows me knows like I'm a birthday snot, right? Like I love my birthday.
Thankfully, it falls on a weekend.
Dude, legitimately, it's in 5 days, and I don't even feel like it's my birthday because I'm now turning 36, and I feel like I'm not allowed to celebrate my birthday like I did when I was 35. Dru goes like, "What are you doing for your birthday?" I was like, "I don't know, maybe go see Twister."
Yeah.
Like this is 36. Anyway, right. I digress. This is the last, me being closer to 40 than 30 is kind of hitting hard, but we're here.
Mm-hmm.
We got a smile on our face.
Oh, yeah. To be back to 36 again. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, ladies and gentlemen, we hope that, the current events and things that we talk about here today are certainly something that you find kind of interesting. And if you guys have any questions about this stuff, certainly reach out to us, and we're going to kind of take you into
our fabulous
our next
segment. You have the last word.
Well, I'm honored would be a word that I would use. I am excited that our paths crossed and really you were able to meet this person before I was, you and Christopher.
And then you yoinked my friend.
Yeah, I did.
It's fine. I'll forgive
you.
Actually,
we just bonded deeply when we went to the ball game and such. And it was a crazy start to our relationship. I mean, here I am talking about, deep things with Jack Handy, and we're sitting at a ball game, which is one of my favorite things in the world to do. And this guy is just listening and we're kind of going deep. It was almost as if there was nothing going on around us, but it is an absolute pleasure to introduce and bring on this friend, this gentleman, this master, and he is a mortgage originator for On Time Mortgage. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Chris Johnson, my friend, my colleague, so many things, Chris, so many things. And I thank you for being here today, my friend.
Dru, Aimee, how are you?
Hello
good,
there.
Good. Look at you, just all quiet and subtle. You usually come in with a bang,
right?
You didn't come in as hot as I expected.
I would mix it up on you for once, right?
Yeah, I gave you the intro of the world right there, and you kind of were just like, hey, what's up?
You could tell the truth if you want.
I just did. I just did. I mean, you're the master connector. It's, we all laugh around the office.
What does that mean, Dru? Master connector. I don't even know what that's like the word networking that we.
No, stop.
It's much more than networking.
I know you hate that word. So that's why I used master connector, because so many people, you have influenced so many people, and you've impacted so many people,
and your brain
through
works
connections.
Yeah, in such a non-selfish way that if two people are going to get along, taking yourself completely out of it, you don't go ahead and make that introduction,
and you
are
care.
So selfless.
Right, totally.
I think I'm getting more selfish though, guys. I'm gonna be honest with you.
And that's okay. And I think that's because of just what you've maybe learned, through the last couple of years of maybe being selfless, because not everybody you introduce and connect is always going to work or lead to something positive.
Mm-hmm.
And, we take risks and we do different things, and we find out, kind of where our paths are and where our opportunities are.
Yeah. I'm paring down my bench, Dru and Aimee. I really am. I'm trying to get it where it's a little more tight, a little more collective. Mm-hmm. I like that word collective better than, or influence a lot better than I like the word network. It means like we're just like sitting around and not getting a lot done. And when I met you, you get things done. I think that's right. So we talk about influence.
Yeah.
We talk about trust, number one. Yeah. So and then I should be able to, if you really want to meet somebody, I should be able to get on the phone or email or text somebody and say, hey, really would appreciate if you would, my good friend Dru and Aimee have a fantastic company. It's more than just title, which is boring, right? We all know that's a boring thing, but they do so much for people in the community.
Now.
Yeah, that's boring. I mean, who the heck likes title? but you guys are more than that. I've never known a title company to do as much in the community and to help. And so those are the kind of people I want to do business with. And
right.
That's why you and I hit it off so quickly, Dru. I mean, we went to a White Sox game. What else are we going to do? Certainly not going to watch the game. We're going to chat about other things, right? As bad as, and they weren't that bad then, were they?
No, they weren't. This goes back a couple of years,
years ago, yeah.
Like if it was now, yes, we'd have nothing but business and life and things to talk about. But no, back then we did.
We did, and we still do today. So
yeah,
I think it's a lot of things. I think for me, and I've said this on numerous other podcasts, I always used to think it was about volume, kiss a lot of frogs.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, that's just not the case. And my patience level for folks that don't line up with the values that you two possess and some other people in the time, and then consistency, that's huge. You can't jump in one day and say all the right things and then go away and then come back. And it's about doing the hard things and doing the next right thing all the time. That's how you build great relationships with people.
No, totally. What like
was there a turning point?
Yeah, that's
like my childhood, guys. I mean, here we got Dru. You're having some health concerns. My mom, who and I love my mother. I love my father. I say that to everybody. That's one of the first things that I say. If I made a ton of money in my life, would I like to make more money? Absolutely. Have I had a charmed existence through my entire life? I have, because I've always had people that I've known I was loved from the outset, and I've always been around people that are smarter than me, that are more altruistic. I just have a lot of great people in my life, and have been able to identify assets my entire existence. And then the folks that aren't serving what you do well, then they need to go away quick. So I think I've gotten better at that as time's gone on.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I mean, you tell a story when, it's not about money for you, and it's something different. And it's people are so judged, and people are so impacted and influenced by money. Yes, it's something that we all need, right? It's just part, it's a necessary evil. But I tell your story. Tell the folks your just opening story of about you and what your makeup is.
Grew up Irish Catholic, and to this point, it's almost embarrassing to say that. But I've always felt that investing in people and investing in what people do well and pouring into people and lifting them up has always been a major interest. And you got to really meet people where they are, because they may not be where you want them or where they want to be at that moment. But if you find somebody that you like and has a good soul, then the direction is really endless. There's no self-fulfilling limitations or prophecies that you can put on yourself. The greatest story, and I told it at our private men's dinner, Drew, the other day, and I told this when I was on your podcast before, was when I was in real estate, still in real estate in a different way, but a number of years back, and a gentleman there we thought, was homeless. And my partners and I, would go into the Starbucks in Lisle 6:30 a.m. every single day. And he would be sitting there, and people would kind of roll their eyes. To be candid, I'm almost embarrassed to admit that they did that, but they did. And he came up to me one day and said, "Hey, you guys are talking real estate. Would love to sit with you and chat and just be a part of the conversation. Can I do that?" And I said, "Sure." I mean, that's my first inclination. Anything in life is to find ways to say yes, because that's what we're called to do, is to say yes and to help as many people as we possibly can, no matter what the end result is for us. So I said yes. My partners at the time kind of looked at me funny, like rolled their eyes, like, "Why are you letting this guy sit with us?" So he did. Became one of the crew. I mean, for years. So then we get into that 08, 09 problem, which we all have our ups and downs in life. And I've sure experienced a heck of a lot more failure in my life than I've ever had success, which has made me the person that I am today. And it's probably allowed me to edify and to discern better than ever. But Matt became one of us. So we get in that terrible time in real estate. We give back a lot of our stuff to the bank as far as our properties that we own. The person that I did a lot of work with gets out, and he buys 5 bakeries in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and he needs an investor. So I think we all know where this is going. So, the gentleman that we thought was homeless gave a significant amount of money. And the story and the moral of the story is that we don't know who people are. Don't judge the book by its cover. And here's the other thing. To this day, we still hang out. This has been 15 years later. I drive him to the church that he does his thing. And Matt married my wife and I in Florida. I got married about 8 years ago, and he was the person that married us. So the question we got to ask ourselves is, are we really judging the book by its cover? Are we giving every person an opportunity to give us their strengths in their life? And are we investing in people? And that, to me, is probably the greatest decision I've ever made. I get so much wisdom from him. Is he always easy to deal with? Just because you're a priest doesn't mean you're a big softy. I mean, he was also a professor at DePaul University and taught political science. And we've been to 7 presidential museums together. We travel together. He's really a real turning point in my life for we all have like 3 to 5 people in our life that have big impacts other than our parents and maybe our sister or brother or other relatives. I think that's one of my 5, and I've got more to come, I hope.
Yeah, no, I mean, that story definitely has made you the person that you are today, right? I mean, I think that you exude that with your connecting of people in, and it doesn't have to be just real estate. It's every industry.
Mhm.
You talk about, yes, you're in the real estate space, but at the end of the day, you're in the people space. You're in the, oh, hey, wait, I'm going to fulfill a need. I'm going to put piece A with piece C and let them have a conversation, and whatever comes of it, you don't care, other than you made the intro. You don't have to, I'm not looking for anything from that. I just saw two personalities that seemed like they clicked, as well as synergy in what they do together.
Mhm.
And you've put them together in every, I would say that you're probably batting 95% in my world with introductions, and that, my God, that well gets into the Hall of Fame, as you know. So I think that's a track record that you should be certainly proud of, and continue to do. That's why I utilize Master Connector.
Mhm.
I mean, Amy says it too. When she first met you, she's like, God, he knows a lot of people.
Yeah, but I always wondered, Drew, am I doing enough for you? That's what I go to bed at night or go watch the Pacer. I got a Dads of Steel charity board meeting tonight. I'll get home at 8:30, and I'll look, I'll kind of go through my day, and then I'll plan my day tomorrow, and I'll think to myself, did I really do enough for Drew and Amy? Because our goal right now is to get as many banking relationships for you, and do it in a way that's not, as my good friend Jim Rudwall said, not schmaltzy, right? Or not where I'm so obvious about my intention. The intention is to get good people in the room that are doing good things for each other, and without a what's the word, Drew? Without a
there's no expectation.
There's
zero
or
expectation
an angle that you're trying to get at. I mean, like, the greatest example is our close friend Chris Liedl.
Yep.
And so we had lunch today, and so we bring somebody to the table, and he's somebody that thinks that Chris wants something.
Mm-hmm. Really?
But in all reality, Chris had somebody for him.
Wow.
So that's the goal, is to turn the table. Oh, you think I'm going to hunt you for business, when in essence, I just want to connect you with someone. That is really the ultimate right there.
Yeah. And I think that's what you're finding. And I think that's what you're weeding out as well, is, when you go to these events where, we talk about it at nauseum, because of the fact that, when Amy's in a women's group as well, with, Women of Sill, and you can tell the genuine folks, you can tell the folks that are there just to get the business, and just to gain the opportunity. It's not about meeting somebody and getting to know them and developing a little bit of a relationship and then starting to work together. It's, so when are you going to send me a deal? And when are, like, those folks we don't have time for. That's not our character. And obviously that's not yours either. So you're never going to align with those people. So, to think that you're not doing enough for the inspired folks, I mean, you're anything you do is more than enough, because you don't have to do this at all. You're doing this because of a relationship. And I think that's the emphasis that we want to put on the whole mindset. And the topic here is it's relationship building, and then it turns into business. It's not the other way around. You don't start doing business and then develop a relationship, because typically that's going to be, that doesn't have a solid foundation underneath it.
It's delivering, Drew. It's saying you're going to do something and then fulfilling that expectation. I think that that's what everybody's in business to do. And so many of us fall short.
Yeah.
And that's always the goal. You're not going to be 1,000. You're going to hit 750 or whatever, but the goal is to do exactly what I said I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And then find people that are in my sphere that do the exact same thing.
It's one of your pet peeves is, having somebody cancel on you after, them booking the appointment.
Don't set the meeting if you got to be able to control your calendar.
Right.
You can't control your calendar.
Right.
Then don't set the meeting. I mean, that's called NBO, next best offer.
Are you listening to this?
Next best offer is not good. I mean,
I'm not that
so
guy.
Decide what your schedule is and then work around that. We have a meeting 8:00 every Wednesday, Drew. You're very good about, you're on 25 minutes early. I'm like, Drew's already on. I gotta get on this thing.
Just because I don't want to miss. I get sidetracked.
Great,
like, squirrel. I'm off to it. I'm just gonna go.
Bro, I often say, like, you two having a conversation, it's like chasing squirrels and moths at the same time.
That's why you haven't
Like-
said anything till now, right?
I'm trying-
My ADHD kicks in. Drew's kicks in. What can I say?
and I sit here and nod my head
Yeah.
and say,
Yeah, that's, go ahead, ask your questions.
so yeah, thinking about 2024, do you have like business goals, personal goals? Like what come December 31st, 2024, what would make you feel like you had a successful year?
It's I've had a lifelong goal, Amy, of making 50 to 100 people more successful than me, and that could be spiritually, that could be financially, that could be professionally.
Mm-hmm.
It's always elevating. I think when you worry about everything but yourself, I think yourself takes care of itself. And sometimes I'm guilty of maybe being too outside in, but that's just how I was raised. And those are the kind of folks that I gravitate. I mean, if you look at Dru, the guy works night and day. I mean, I don't know in some ways, Dru, if that's the best thing you do. To be perfectly candid, you got to be able to turn it off. I don't do a very good job of it sometimes. I've got to be able to get rid of this doggone thing and not be so into that, and to be able to turn it off. But yeah, we all have professional goals. Those are all set out, and what we do with on-time mortgage and those things, and those guys, when I needed something, the guys that I work for at On Time, they knew what I needed, and they saw me when money wasn't on the line. So I think here's the thing, guys. I think we're always on an interview, no matter where we're at.
Amen.
Whether it be on the golf course, Dru, when you threw the clubs. I hope you didn't do that. I don't think you would be that guy. We're at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you fell in the river retrieving a ball golfing.
That's right. He found the river.
Nailed that interview.
Yeah. That's right. And then my daughter, right? My daughter, if I'm at Jewel or if I'm at Mariano's with my daughter and she upsets me or doesn't listen and I get all upset and start screaming at her in the middle of the store, probably not the best look. Am I guilty of that? Sure. I've done it.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to always be monitoring what you're doing and your mindset and those types of things. But yeah, professional goals. I mean, what's good for me in 2024? My wife was out of work for 6 months, just retrieved a job. My mom's health status.
Congratulations to her.
Thank you.
Yes.
My dad. I mean, now you find out things about your dad when there's adversity.
Sure.
At home. So I think it's always maybe doing a check on yourself, and then how am I doing spiritually? Am I in the moment when I'm at mass or in a service, or am I just daydreaming? Those are all audits that we do on ourselves, and to make sure we're on the right path to living the life that we all want to live, because we're always coming up short, and there's always things we can do to improve upon in our business, professional, and spiritual lives.
Right.
Absolutely. So well said, my friend. I'm so thankful to have you, just take some time and do the show and enlighten us and enlighten the audience with some words of wisdom and some real general, authentic emotion and feeling. I mean, you are one of the most authentic people I know. You are the most genuine person I know. You really are about what you say you are, and there's no guessing, there's no BS behind it. It's you're who you are, and I appreciate you, respect you, and really enjoy what we've kind of grown together and what we're kind of setting out to do together. We've got some really great ideas and really great opportunities in front of us.
We got some audacious goals, Dru, that we're going to achieve this year, and I'm honored that God brought you two in my life. And I say that not again to be schmaltzy or to be ethereal in any way, but it's really true. I enjoy the time we spend together. So thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, why don't you plug where people can get a hold of you and anything else that you want to plug as far as, Center of Influence, if you guys want to be part of that and joining that.
We do a lot of stuff, Dru, for charity. Again, outside myself and then our group itself, it's about identifying people that have the values that we that we want, that are other centered, that are altruistic, that want to grow and they don't think they have all the answers. People that have a lot of money, but you would never know they had money. And then on the mortgage side, it's doing things fast. We do things on time, as we say.
Right.
And we try to overachieve in every client. And then we don't take any business that we don't feel good about, because we got to go to sleep at night.
Right.
And we want our clients to feel happy about every transaction they do with us. And again, do the right thing and help people achieve their goals of home ownership. So people can reach me at chris@ontimemtg.com. They can text me or call me at 630-956-0505.
And he will return your call, whether he recognizes it or not. He will pick it up. He will answer it. He may text you some fun emojis. You never know. What depends on what mood he's in. It depends on what Chris you get. But
That's right.
dude, I appreciate you, man.
Thank
And thank you so much for taking some time today and being here with us. And we'll definitely get you back on here and doing this again. You've
Awesome.
been really great. So
Thanks, guys.
thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Wow. This I can't say enough good things about him.
Yeah, and he talked a little bit about how, center of influence, they are into the community and that giving back piece. And I just wanted to do a quick shout out that, he's joined us at the
So many of
Feed
us.
My Starving Children, at the,
the walks.
the walks. He's always been a constant in supporting Inspired Titles, mission.
Every aspect of it. I can't say enough good things about him, and he's just one of the good people around. That
He's an Indiana gentleman.
Just makes you want to be around, and he's always fun to be around. He always brings us a smile and laugh to people's face. So we appreciated him to being on here today. So let's get going on more fun.
This has been a long and fantastic show. I feel like
he's super enjoyable.
He is great. So we are going to kind of wrap up the show with our Inspired Title Gifts back. We survived our golf outing.
Ooh, successful.
It was successful. It was
Thank you.
hot. I loved that there was this perfect blend of family and friends and clients and colleagues, and Chris Johnson made an appearance. He was on the 16th hole, and my entire family was like, he's just a great guy. And, we had people from Signature Bank out there. We had Martin out there. I'm so grateful for these relationships that you've worked so hard to build with, these clients, customers turn friends, and that they showed up for us, which was fantastic.
That's the turn. That's what we're trying to do is trying to, build this outing every year. And I think that this was a transition year for us to do that. And I think that, we certainly made an impact, and I know that, we've raised some good money, and I'm excited about making that announcement here soon about, giving that money out to the charities. It was great.
Absolutely.
So
and
great.
We've been on the links a lot.
Woo!
We've done there's been a lot of supporting different organizations with the golf outings we've been doing. A couple for, a little bit of networking, and but it all goes back to somewhere good. So that's a good thing. We were at the IMBA
that was the Mortgage Brokers
Association outing. We did, or Ryan and Chris represented the team for the Civitan. Am I saying that right?
Yep.
Golf outing.
Correct. Yep.
We were at the Hispanic Business Network golf outing.
Great time.
The Greater Calumet USBC.
Yeah. That was the Saturday of heat stroke.
That was
like a
Drew decided to golf like 706 times in 4 days.
Yeah.
And his body was feeling it after a while.
My body said no.
Do you want to give everybody a little update on where we are with our goal and what we've accomplished so far?
I would love
So
to
we're
do
in
that.
August right now. So we are 8 months in.
Yeah. So
7.5 months.
Yeah,
in.
we're 75% through the year here.
Yeah.
And we are probably 80 to 85% to our goal, which I set a goal for the team this year to raise was it $25,000 or $20,000 or so. And I mean, we are right there.
We are right there.
Just, with 4 months to go. And I couldn't be more proud. And this is just, kudos and hats off to, yourself and Christopher and Courtney really just leaning into this thing and really just kind of, making these things happen. I mean, we talked about it and it actually came to fruition. So, that is the inspired way. That's the inspired difference, is making a difference in everybody's lives. So
yeah, and I think next year, thinking about the goals that we're setting for the give back and stuff, we've been lucky to have a handful of great people come and join these events with us. So I think my goal is to, try to rally even more clients and stuff to participate in like these volunteerings that we do.
Totally.
Where Feed My Starving Children, we talk about all the time. We got to go to Restore and bash some sledgehammers into entertainment centers, which I will try to do every week for the rest of my volunteering episodes.
Promise.
And yeah, besides, our golf outings and Feed Six that we're going to be partaking in. So my hope is to get, a little crew together for every one of these outings.
I
think
mean,
it'd be awesome.
I would encourage that as well. And I don't think we'll have a difficult time doing it, because I think that we're starting to gain traction with, what we're doing, and Heroes Helping Heroes and the Bridge Teen Center, as well as Pillars. I mean, 3 very, very big and strong organizations that we are.
And stay tuned for details to follow. Dru, Courtney, and I are all participating in something with the Bridge Teen Center towards the end of the year. So it's not something that you can directly, participate in because they're for kids programs, but something that we'd like to share with you that we're spending some time doing in the next couple weeks too. We'll give you some info on it.
Absolutely. We can't wrap up the show without thanking the great Chris Johnson for being
Another
a part
person.
of this.
You have to say his first and last name. Chris Johnson.
I did.
I know that's what I'm saying. Like I feel the same way.
Oh yeah,
every time
right.
I say Chris.
Yeah. Because
it's Chris Johnson.
Yeah, because everybody knows a Chris.
It's a Chris
right?
Johnson.
Yeah,
Though.
Chris
Not
Johnson.
everybody should know a Chris Johnson.
Absolutely. And thank you guys for those who've helped and sponsored the outing and were a part of it. Thank you, huge thank you, and shout out to all those people who were there with us, the volunteers, the players, the family, the clients. It just was a beautiful day. Tim was there with us, and it was an amazing day. We're looking to do it even bigger and better next year. So thankful for all of that. We're thankful for you guys. Make sure you like us and share this, and make sure this episode gets out there. We'll be on Spotify. We'll be in the Apple world. I don't even know what that is for.
I just flashed to apple picking in the fall. Sorry, I got lost for a second.
Because there has been a theme of fall in this episode. It doesn't feel like it outside yet, but holy cow.
Yes.
But thank you guys for tuning in and being a part of this. My name is Dru.
And my name is Aimee.
We thank you for another episode of
The Closing Table.
Well, there you have it. That's it for this week's edition of The Closing Table. Be sure to head over to our podcast page on Spotify for more episodes. And please subscribe, like, and share. Follow the team on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Join us again next time, everybody. And thanks for listening.